here, moving in a crowd. Who I worship you. Yo. I filmed like 6 of these already. I'm not sure. I haven't even uploaded one. I haven't even uploaded one yet. But it is your boy, Chris, out of DFW, by way of Northern California. Come on now, it's a Sunday. We're so blessed. We're so blessed to be here. If you tuning in, I do appreciate you. Pardon me. I do appreciate you tuning in. You do feel that. Yes, sir. Amen. Yes, Lord. Anyways, guys. Oh, my glasses are dirty. They're dirty. Not like me, because I'm cleansed in the blood, baby. Cleansed in the blood. Oh, man. I don't have my little thing with me. Okay. Anyway. Today, it's confession time. Here, let me, we're gonna call it confession time. I feel like I've been drifting away from the Lord. Yeah. I don't know how, or I don't know why, but we're gonna talk it out today. I'm gonna try to keep it short. I promise I'm gonna try to keep it short, but I guess you gonna know by the time you clicking on this how long of a video it's gonna be. So, I feel like I may have disobeyed the Father. I mean, we do it daily. I do it daily, sure. But I feel like, okay. Your boy, I've been unemployed for practically 5 months at this point. I'd say a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago-ish, I had a job offer for work that I'd never done before in a field that's completely new to me. I was offered a position as a project manager for a construction company. Your boy ain't got no construction experience. Right before that, before I got laid off, I was a manager, an operations manager at a Korean spa out here. I'm not gonna tell you where. I mean, there's only so many, so you might be able to figure it out. Anyways, I was there for about a year. First time in, like, quote unquote leadership, aka management. And basically yeah, they let your boy go. And low key I had one in the span of 12-13 months. I almost left that job like 3 times, no joke. Like I was about to do it, but I couldn't, because I have felt that God had placed me there. I felt he had placed me there. Because prior to that, I was in a world of darkness. I was working at, basically, they call it a sukjib in Korean. It translates to alcohol house of alcohol. It's basically, you get your little food, you get your little drink, but mainly people just drinking in those kinds of spaces. Anyways, that was the first that I'd ever done something like that, but anyways, so I felt here, and at the same time that I was doing that, I was doing party stuff. I was working with a little group. Well, I technically worked with 2 little groups. The second one, I was not really on board, because I was already trying to get out of that life. I was doing that for about a year at that time, when I had, felt the spiritual weight of it, and just the things that used to make me so happy that I felt that I was not living for, but I was getting so high off of, were now I had lost the taste for it. It just did not appeal to me, aka socializing, drinking, and other things, right? Okay, so real quick, y'all. Okay, I wanted to clarify. So basically, it's not that I was getting happy. I never found satisfaction in that, to be real. But low key, when I came out from Northern California, SoCal actually, I was, being a Cali boy, I'm gonna keep it a stack. I know Tex people don't like that, but I was low key depressed. I didn't even realize it. It took me a minute. The climate, it was overbearing for me personally. I couldn't go out and skate. Going outside, I'm sweating, I'm humid. It don't matter how much you shower, you go outside, it's just sweat. It's just, I couldn't go anywhere. The way the city's built, they built it to this weather accordingly. And I can't get mad at Texas for that, but I'm not going to lie, it was tough. And so in the meantime, you know, I was trying to fill this void. I was trying to fill this void even more so than I was before. And yeah, man, I was just doing, you know, low key. I was dabbling in the darkness. I'm not gonna lie. It got a little dark. Anyways, back to the story, yo. Right? Okay. So, you know, fast forward to, you know, 3 weeks ago, I get a little job, you know, opportunity in Austin. I was really excited. I felt like things were lining up. I was like, oh God, you know, I felt it was from him. I felt he was calling me away, and I'm still not sure. I'm still not sure. So I felt he was calling me. I went out. I went and did the job. Right. I literally lasted 4 days. And I'm not trying to make any excuses, but here's what was going on in my mind. Right. So I had been offered the job. Project management, you know, okay, you're managing things. I kind of looked up the role. It's, you know, you managing timelines, you know, you're liaisoning between the different teams or the different operations. Let's say it's like a big project. There's cement laying, there's, you know, welding, there's roofing, there's, you know, the walls, the framing, you know, all these different parts to it. I imagined more like polos and clipboards. That's what I was thinking it was going to be, right? And of course, when I got hired, the CEO, he's like, hey, you know, I don't, you know, I'm not going to repeat his exact words because he did, you know, he did cuss a little bit. But what he had told me basically was what he expected out of his managers. He's expecting that I'm going to do some of the labor work. He says, he didn't want me to just be standing around watching people telling him what to do. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. You know, I'm brand new. You're giving me a chance. Of course, yeah, I'm not, if I gotta, my rationale and, you know, my mindset going in was like, yeah, of course I got to do some of the work. I can't just, how am I going to tell people when, you know, how am I going to tell anybody when the job's done if I don't know what the job looks like, right? So I knew I was going to have to get some hands-on time in there. But you know, so, you know, basically the offer was given to me about 2-3 weeks before I'd actually left. So I accepted it. And the day before I head down from, you know, Dallas, Fort Worth down to Austin, you know, pack the car up, you know, little things, you know, he said, stop by the office for some paperwork. I'm like, cool. I stopped by for some paperwork, and tell me why, you know, he moved me from W-2 to 1099. First, that should have been a red flag right there. And then he says, oh, I'm cutting the pay. I'm cutting the pay 20% for the first 3 months. We're calling it probation. He didn't exactly say probation, but that's basically what he was saying. I was like, okay, you know what? I mean, that should have been another flag for me, but I was like, you know what? I paid already. I dropped almost probably cool band on the car to fix it up, to make it ready for, you know, Austin for the trip. About 250 miles down, you know, and who knew what I was going to have to do when I got down there regarding the car and travel. So I was just like, yeah, you know, anyways, you know, I signed the papers and I should have known, you know, I was like, oh, that's kind of weird, but all right, that's cool. Giving me a chance, I'll humbly walk through. I get there. Tell me why I get there. Man. And, I didn't mind doing it. Like, it was cool for me. I wouldn't have minded it, but it was one thing in particular that kind of, I felt that it was my discernment kind of telling me something. So here's what I saw. I went down, you know, first day, they had me, you know, doing some framing. We're cutting up steel beams, you know, really light stuff. Beams, you know, using a little crane, a scissor lift, you know, putting up some, you know, cutting out some drywall, you know, cutting out little things out of it to make sure it fits at the top. You know, you doing all these things, the levels, the lasers. It was kind of cool. I was like, all right, this is cool first day. Second day, basically continuation, and then just a little extra side stuff. I should have knew it was gonna be a problem when I was requesting for safety gear, right? I was like, hey, can I get a mask? Can I get some goggles? Or can I get some glasses? Can I get you know, earplugs? Can I get some gloves? You feel me? It was basically the management was looking at me like, boy, you soft. And I was just like, I mean, first of all, I already told everybody like, hey, this is my first construction industry job, so just, you know, please bear with me. I will do everything that you ask me to. Just, you know, just please understand that this is my first job, you know, first time doing anything like this. So, you know, I was already getting yelled at, like, oh, you don't know how to use a level, you don't know how to square things, and you know, use a you know, a right angle. I mean, it sounds really silly, but I just I didn't know until they showed me. But yeah, I should have known, because okay, it was gonna be tough. So I didn't mind doing all that, but then it was on the last day. It was our second to last day, right? It was the third day. I lasted 4 days. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of embarrassing, but lasted 4 days. And it was by the fourth day, you know, last 2 hours of work, right? Last 2 hours of work, it's scorching hot sun. The first few days we was inside, at least. It's hot as heck, no AC, you know, but you know, we're sweating hard, you know, lifting things, cutting things. It's loud, you know, that's fine. But then we went outside, and then the main manager is asking me and a couple other boys that's not even contracted to do this work, right? Asking us to basically dig dirt out of rebar, right? And that's when I knew, I was like, okay, this is kind of weird. But then this is where the discernment hit. Sorry, I kind of rambled, but basically, you know, he asked me to stay, you know, I was, you know, wobbling on top of the, you know, so there's a few layers of rebar. I'm on the very top trying to, you know, they messed up a trench. They call it a trench. So there's a big wooden frame sitting at the top, you know, of this, you know, rebar structure where they're going to pour, and it's going to leave a gap, right, for the, AKA the trench. I'm bending over trying to pick this stuff up, you know, break things up, you know, use the power drill, oh, boom, 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 try to take things out. And, you know, I'm getting yelled at. Oh, he's like, hey, the guy's telling me stand 2-3 levels into the rebar. So, you know, basically there's a grid, you know, there's multiple grids. I'm standing at the top. He's telling me I got to stand further in like this, right? So like something like this. I'm like, all right, that makes sense. I was more stable. The guy instructs me, hey, go stand right here. And then as soon as I stand right there, stand in it, this guy just starts hammering away. This guy was obviously, you know, a little PO'd, a little upset and frustrated that they were gonna have to redo certain work, right? And I'm not gonna go into the whole thing about it, but it was very unorganized. I will say that. He instructs me to stand there, and he starts smacking things away, and then wooden beams are like basically about to hit me, and I have to stop it with my own hammer. I'm like, boom. And I mean, it still hit me. I mean, it didn't hurt or nothing, but here's what kind of upset me. Here's what raised some flags for me. I was like, it happened like 3 times, and I'm yelling at this, you know, this guy. I'm like, hey, excuse me. I'm yelling in Korean. I'm like, hey, you know, 잠깐만, yo, hey, wait, hey, hold on. You're hitting me right now. And, you know, his attitude, first thing, oh, you know, he's telling me, you know, oh, you gotta watch out, watch where you're going. And I'm like, bro, you just told me to, you literally you told me to stand right there, right? But then it was afterwards when I tried to confront him, I was like, hey, you know, I'll do whatever you ask me. Just please give me a warning. You're gonna start doing stuff like that. Cause I had to look out and see that I was about to get smacked. And he was just very indifferent, is how I would put it. And so for me, just all those things, the pay cut, the last minute paperwork, changing of employment filing, right? And then, you know, coming in, you know, basically no instruction. There's no emphasis or heed to safety gear, right? Like, I'm not asking, I wasn't expecting them to, like, you know, completely cater to me or something or anything like that. It was just, my mind was a little blown, because I was just like, yo, how you gonna, you know, this don't make sense. Like, bro, I get that y'all been doing this for like 5, 10, 15 years. All of them said they had no hearing, and I was like, bro, as somebody who makes music, somebody who considers themselves an artist, I'm like, that's a problem, brother. Like, first, I'm not from this world. Like, I need earplugs. You feel me? Like, I need earplugs. This, and like the sounds and the noises in that place, bro, it was loud, bro. They were using water saws, cutting off concrete. As we work in one station, they just blasting off the other, like literally the same wall that we, you know, got all of our dry products under, all of our tools under, and boom, it's just coming out, concrete's flying out, you know. The scissor lift is running over things, hitting things. It's just, you know, squeaking super loud. And bro, this is not like a regular concert type of loudness. It was like different level loudness. It was, and if you worked in that industry, bro, respect, to you, straight up. I could not hack it, but respect, straight up. So anyways, it was the indifference for me. You know, it was the lack of instruction, lack of, you know, safety protocol, lack of supervision even. And then last but not least, the bad instruction. And then to top it off, it was the indifference once confronted, right? The attitude. I was like, bro, it made me question. I was like, bro, I don't think I can trust this type of leadership. You know, I was told that I would need about 3 months to get caught up to speed and start running a successful, you know, on my own independently. And, you know, I might not have understood enough, but from what I was seeing, man, it was going to be a lot longer than 3 months before I was anywhere near useful for these guys. And so that's what made me, you know, think, you know what, I need to, you know, tuck tail and turn around, you know? So anyways, actually, so anyways, yeah, man, that very Sunday, you know, it was really weird. I didn't even say anything to anybody, but I just started packing up, and I wasn't even consciously thinking of